Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to Paisano's Music and Vinyl Talk. Paisano here, joined by my lovely co-host Genevieve. Tonight we're going to talk about a pioneer of rock by the name of Little Richard. Now, if you ever hear these old-time performers referred to as Little, means they were somewhat of a prodigy, which means they showed a great amount of talent at a young age. So Little Richard was no exception. He was very active on the vaudeville circuit back in the 40s and the late 30s, 40s. I mean, he started young, and spent a lot of time in the R&B circuit, the old school R&B circuit. Now they say rhythm and blues or R&B, and that's not R&B. Back when Little Richard was around, and some of these guys like Otis Redding and Sam Cooke, that's R&B. That's old school R&B. But Little Richard inadvertently created rock and roll, in my opinion. I mean, he didn't set out to. He was playing a kind of a boogie-woogie type piano, always a very proficient piano player. And he cranked out some songs in 55 and 56, and rock was born, as far as I'm concerned. And then came Bo Diddley and Elvis. Elvis is widely considered the king of rock, but I've read, well, Little Richard was called the architect of rock, which means he constructed it for anyone that came after him. Right, baby? Right? I'm sure you know all about this, right? I can't get her to shut up about Little Richard around the house. That's all she talks about. Little Richard this and Little Richard that. Right? I say enough of the Little Richard. All right, so everybody was influenced by this guy. Lemmy from Motorhead is on record saying that the greatest rock and roll voice ever was Little Richard. And I tell you, it was perfect for rock. Now, these songs, this is, I said it was Little Richard's greatest hits. This is Little Richard, the most dynamic entertainer of the generation, his greatest hits. Okay? And I bought this thinking that these were going to be the originals. I mean, silly me, of some of these songs that he made famous and created rock and roll with. But I had read somewhere on the internet some time ago that he re-recorded these in the mid-60s for this album. And while they were still good, these songs will always be good. They didn't quite have the firepower that the originals had. The originals were awesome, so I ended up downloading them from iTunes a long time ago. But Good Golly Miss Molly, Babyface, Tutti Frutti, Send Me Some Lovin', The Girl Can't Help It, Lucille. There's side one. Side two, Slippin' and Slidin', Keep a Knockin', Rip It Up, She's Got It, Oh My Soul, and Long Tall Sally. Now, when I say these guys influenced everybody, take a listen to this. This is the intro to Keep a Knockin'. And let me know what this drum beat reminds you of. Maybe a little-known song by the name of Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, the drum intro by John Bonham, bears a striking resemblance to that drum intro. So don't tell me these guys weren't influenced by them. I mean, the rockers of the 70s and 60s, most of them were born in the late 40s and would have been, at a very impressionable age when Little Richard came around and started doing his thing. So it's only natural that they'd be influenced by him. This came out on VJ, which was a popular label back in the 60s. This is obviously a reissue. This came out in 65, I believe. I bought it in the mid-80s. Thinking I was getting the originals, but that's a classic VJ label right there. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed our little talk about the beginning of rock as we know it. I know Genevieve did. Who will we be drawing on Monday? Please join me Monday night. We'll break out the Pittsburgh Pirates hat, give it a good shuffle, and this time Genevieve is going to pick it out for you.
No.
Yes! Enough back talk. The mouth on this one, huh? No. Unacceptable.
I'll pick it and throw it right back at you.
Right out. Oh, yeah. Nice. Real nice
Bye.
kid. Yeah, delightful kid. All right. Until Monday night, YouTube. Thank you. Good night. Say good night, John.
Bye, deformity.
All right.